Today we're going to be talking about setting business goals and why you're most likely doing it wrong, to be honest with you. There's Setting business goals is probably one of the most important things in your business, even though it might seem a little bit like hippy dippy or something, because it's not like a secret tactic or strategy. It's kind of boring on the surface, but at the end of the day, there's honestly nothing more important than setting the right business goals. So, Mike, I know you have big feelings about this, so why don't you preach a little bit for why setting business goals is so important? Because I think the whole reason why that inspired me to want to do this series is because you um, had said in the Discord, like to everyone in our private Discord, buildassetsonline.com/membership, you had said, everyone, what are your goals for this week? And yeah, that I think that was potent. So let's hear about it.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say when it comes to setting goals, but you're right. I think people do overlook it because they're always looking for a secret tactic or something that's going to just magically get them to where they want to go. And that does have validity, but really it does come down to goal setting. And we'll talk about like goals versus systems too, because I think that's important. But if you're not setting goals and giving yourself like liability to go out and do something, you're also going to be unlikely to discover that one tactic that may work for you. And in the same, in the same light, even if someone gave you this magical tactic, if you're not setting goals along the way, you're most likely not going to do it. And so I think really what goals do is it forces you to actually go from point A to point B. It's almost like putting like data tracking on yourself and just monitoring your own efficiency. Because I think as human beings, we tend to be lazy just naturally, and we tend to gravitate to doing like the least amount of work possible. So by actually setting a goal and writing it down, you're really forcing yourself to do it, as long as you stay consistent with that and you actually want to do that goal. Because I mean, even myself, like if I have things to do and I don't write them down, especially if it's like something that takes a while to complete, then it's going to be a lot harder and it's going to take longer for me to get there. At least, if you write down a goal and you write this goal down every single day, then you can continually put in energy and focus towards that goal. So it's not like, you should be setting a goal to do something that to send an email. It's not a good goal. A goal should be to finish your Shopify store in 2 weeks. And then so within that, you can write down the steps that you need to take, but ultimately you have that goal and it has to have an endpoint as well to push you towards it.
Yeah. So maybe a lot of people, people make like a to-do list, and a to-do list is important, but it has to be in the context of the bigger thing that you're trying to accomplish. Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, to-do lists are fine. They're good for keeping track of what you have to do, but it's not a goal. A goal is, I want to make this amount of money per month. I want to, something big picture.
Yeah. David Carpalo in the chat says goals stop you from drifting. And that is exactly to the point. And so in this episode, what we're going to talk about is we want to talk about some goals that we've set for ourselves. And honestly, Mike, I'm going to be honest with you. The stuff that I was bringing to the table may be more like to-do list type stuff. But the thing is that all of the to-do list type stuff, for me, it's important that you understand the big picture behind it. So I don't know if we've set any like monetary goals in a long time, or at least in like a year or something. But I think when we make our to-do list, because we've been so automatically, we trained ourselves to do this, I think all of our items on our to-do list have a bigger picture to them. It's not just send this email, do this, do this, do this. It's, okay, we're doing this because we're coming up with a new system, or, it's usually because we're coming up with a new system. And if it's a tedious item in the to-do list, it's because we're trying something or we're setting something up that we're going to pass on to somebody later. And so, why don't we kick the show off? I'll give an example of something that is on my to-do list this week and that I've already been working on. By the way, if you're in the chat, just say what's up. Let us know that the sound is all good, stuff like that, and be sure to leave your questions so when we get towards the end of the show, we can get to those questions. So, one of the things on my to-do list is Mike and I are really kicking off like lots of partnerships in our business. And why are we doing this? Because at this point, Mike and I feel like we have a lot of knowledge in affiliate marketing, SEO, drop shipping, Kindle publishing. We have more knowledge than we have time to really execute on that knowledge. So what we want to do is we really want to form partnerships with other motivated people that we would get like a cut of their affiliate site, of their dropshipping store, where we'll be like, look, we're going to tell them our knowledge in the context of their business, and we'll be like, this is what you have to do to get to this point. And I think it's something really good to do because it keeps us accountable for giving the most value to our students because we have a direct stake in it, and it's a good learning experience for the other person. So so one of the goals that I had that I've already kind of executed on is we announced last week that we put out applications for a writer to work with us on building affiliate sites. This writer would basically just write every week and we'd take a 50-50 cut in the affiliate site. Found an excellent candidate. If you still want to apply, buildassetsonline.com/writer. We found an excellent candidate, and I talked to her on Friday, talked to her again today. We decided on a niche. So one of my big goals was setting up the whole system architecture that she is going to use. So I set up whole separate Google account, separate Canva account. Obviously got the domain, got the website hosted. So all these little micro tasks I kind of wrote down as like mini to-do lists, but it's all within the bigger picture of that goal of setting her up to start writing. And that's within the even bigger context of developing sites in our portfolio on autopilot without spending any money. So there really, really is a big thing at the end of the road there that we're trying to accomplish.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of times now, like we've done so much stuff that we don't really sit down anymore and say, okay, we're going to do this and we're going to focus on this for the next 4 months. I think if we did that, it would be beneficial. And so maybe we should be doing more of it, but we would certainly do this, earlier on when we didn't know as much, you can say, or, I think like we didn't have anyone to teach us how to do drop shipping the way that we did it. And so we would have to really just set, okay, we want to do this much in sales per month, or we want to go out and get this many suppliers. And then we would have no choice but to follow up on that, that type of thing. But now we are just doing so much and we have so many things going on. It's like, we're just riding the wave, and wherever the current kind of takes us, then we say, okay, we need to go down this direction now. And we have so many tools and employees at our disposal to just really take a lot of action on it really quickly. And so it kind of neglects the need for, writing down this goal every day and working towards it, because it's a lot easier to realize in a short time span.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, Mike, what are some of your things that you're doing on your goal list so tell us about what the task is and how it fits into the bigger picture of where we want to go.
Yeah. So I'm doing, I've been arranging a meeting with our attorney to get contracts set up and take care of that need. We're working on some affiliate things. So I have on the to-do list to follow up with some of these affiliate programs and some Kindle stuff to get covers done. So I want to get a specific amount of covers done so I can publish a bunch of books at once and kind of test something. And a few other real estate related tasks. But yeah, a lot of times, again, right now, because we have our hand in so many things. Like things are always popping up that we need to address, and so I need to leave time in to take care of those things. And just I like seeing how what arises and what can happen with that. To not get too philosophical, but
Yeah.
that's really all the goals I have.
Yeah. Well, I think you named a few important things, but I think we should maybe dive a little bit deeper into the context of those goals. So, on the to-do
Hmm.
list is the attorney thing, which, to be honest, man, it's kind of a boring task. That's why I gave it to you. It's kind of I mean, I think at this point you're getting pretty good with the legalese stuff. You're gonna be Mike Brusca
I'm doing a lot
Esquire,
of it.
Mike Brusca Esquire with
No,
the nameplate on your desk. Um, but
no.
yeah, no, I think the context of that is huge because once we get a good partnership agreement in from our attorney that we can trust, we're basically designing it with him so that we can scale it out. So whenever we form a new partnership, boom, the agreement's there. There's no
Hmm.
questioning or guesswork of like, oh, how do we do this? Like, I gotta talk to my lawyer. No, it's a one-time thing, and that one-time thing has very big impacts. And
Hmm.
you mentioned that you do leave some time open for just hanging out and seeing what happens and reacting. But I think within those reactions there's always something churning in the background of depending on how the reaction goes, there's something
Hmm.
behind it saying, okay, now we need to put a system in place to address this.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's a lot of what we do now is like seeing what problems arise or what opportunities arise, and then uh, we build a system around it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, like that example with the lawyer, okay, we want to do partnerships with people. That's the goal. And so we put these things in place to set up a formal agreement that we can use, and we can systemize it. So, we'll have that now to, it'll save us a lot of money in the long run, and it'll save us a lot of time in the long run, and it'll, you know, make us a lot of money in the long run, and hopefully other people. So, yeah, there's that. And again, I spend a lot of time doing our real estate sort of side project right now, and so I do set a lot of goals for that, and I do put a lot of things on my to-do list for that because it is something that's very new. So I need to kind of set these like preliminary type standards to hit. And so, for example, we send out mail, right,
Yeah.
to property owners, and so I need to keep myself focused. And I know from in the past, like you just need to set a goal. You can call it a goal or a system to send out a certain amount of mail per month, no matter what.
Yeah.
And so by doing that, you're essentially forcing yourself to, you're giving yourself really more than you can handle. And I think from that, a lot of good things come out of it. It can be more of a headache and more work and more of a burden, but you usually can get more data, and you give yourself more opportunity for bigger successes. And I think that's what matters. And so, yeah, I definitely set goals in terms of how much mail we need to send out each month, and how many properties we want to acquire in a month or sell in a month. And so I do also think it's important to write down like what you want to do, um, in terms of like the success you want to have, how much money you want to make a month, or how many sales you want to make a month. Something about doing that, I feel like it definitely gets your subconscious going, and I think you're more likely to wind up taking action to push yourself towards that, at the very least.
Yeah. Yeah. I think at this point, the monetary goal, we haven't discussed this, but the monetary goal I have in my head is to basically within the next year or two have a portfolio that's maybe we'll have sold some stuff, but in total, like say we don't sell anything, have a portfolio worth 5 or 6 million. That's my kind of yearly goal, and I think we can get there with the partnerships and stuff like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
if we have percentages in a lot
Mm-hmm.
of things and the way that our current
I think,
businesses are going.
yeah, I think we should be doing that more. And because once you set that goal of, okay, 5 to 6 million in value, you can work backwards. So that would be, at a 30x multiple of monthly profit. What would that be? I can't think of my head, but I think it's like 150,000 a month, maybe. I don't know. I'll do it on the calculator in a second, but you get what I'm saying. You work backwards. Okay, I need to generate this much a month, and then I have these specific websites, whether it's drop shipping or affiliate. And so for the drop shipping ones, to generate this much per month, I need to sell this many items of this price. Or for affiliate, I need to get this much traffic, and I know for every 1,000 visitors I get, I can make this much money.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's really that simple. You just set that higher level goal, and then you backtrack it. And even if you don't achieve that goal exactly, you're still going to be in a much better position because you really planned it out and you took action with intention of getting to a certain place. And I think, again, naturally, we're lazy. We get scared of things. This is a good way to bypass, the jitters or the hesitancy. You set that goal. It's just a logical process to get there.
Yeah. And one thing you mentioned, you said, oh man, I lost my train of thought there. Darn it. Well, let's answer David's question, and then maybe I can remember what you said. Joe and Mike, can you share a bit about your strategy when choosing a niche for high ticket dropshipping? Do you guys care about volume, and what are some key market research pointers that you can share? Well, we have a bunch of videos on that, so I just suggest you search in YouTube or Google, just type in "build assets online niche," because we've made a lot of videos on that. I don't want to just repeat myself and kind of get off topic, but I will say one thing is that search volume is one of the most overrated metrics that people look at in when it comes to SEO and when it comes to dropshipping, when it comes to advertising on Google. And I'll give you a quick reason why. When Google compiles the search volume data, they're doing that strictly for AdWords, for advertising. And they want to tell people hey, this keyword has 1 million searches. You could be getting this much traffic. And it really doesn't capture a lot of long tail variations. And I forget the exact statistic, but it's 1/3 of all searches on Google are unique. And just because people are always typing in different variations of something. So that said, I don't focus on search volume for anything we do in the business, at least not as a primary metric. I mean, it's good to know, hey, if you're going to sell kitchen islands, maybe there's approximately 200,000 visits or searches per month for kitchen islands, but you can't really do anything with that information. So I just recommend going to watch the other videos, David. So
yeah,
I think,
or in our course we go a lot more in depth as to what's important when it comes to getting suppliers and how to actually succeed in that sense.
Yeah, I hate trying to hard sell people on our course, and especially when people ask questions in the chat. But I will say this live stream is about goal setting, and buying a course for something you want to do is the number one easiest way to achieve your goal of having a dropshipping store, because all you have to do is watch our course, follow the steps, and yeah, you're going to hit snags along the way, and there's going to be things you don't understand because it's your first time going about it. But that's the easiest way, because it gives you a map, it gives you a roadmap, and it says follow these steps to get to where you want to go. And all you have to do is execute on the steps. And it's so much easier, 100 million times easier to execute on steps when you actually know what they are. When you don't know what they are, it's so difficult. And that's a big part of goal setting, is that the reason why we're able to think so big and have like I want to have a $10 million portfolio, 5 or 6 million, whatever, is because we know the steps. We've done these businesses before. We teach them to people. So all that matters is executing them in scale. But if you have not seen the steps for yourself, if you have not executed the steps for yourself, you just don't know.
Yeah. Even if I told you the actual formula for picking the perfect niche, you probably most likely would not do it, because even if you found a perfect niche, you would still be unsure as to how to, you know, make a Shopify site right, upload products correctly, contact the suppliers, run the ads. Like, you're going to face uncertainty with all those things, and it's just going to be, it's going to be a lot for a person to overcome without some sort of roadmap for that. So
Yeah. So
keep that in mind.
buildassetsonline.com/asset is where you can check that out, of course. So back to goal setting in the more general context outside of dropshipping stores.
Mm-hmm.
I still wish I remember what I was gonna say. But
Well, I want to talk about systems versus goals,
okay.
because I think a lot of times applying a system can be a lot better tool than applying a goal.
Okay.
And Scott Adams talks about this. I mention him now and then. He writes books about stuff. He created the Dilbert comic strip, and I think he's a pretty smart guy. But really, the idea is that a goal is kind of a one-time benchmark for you to sort of chase after. And I think a lot of the time it doesn't produce as good of results long term as just creating a system for yourself. So, for example, if you say, I want to lose 20 pounds, it's like, okay, you can sort of write out the steps you need to do there. But really, what's more important is that you set a system for this. Every day I'm going to eat this amount of calories, or every week I'm going to work out this much. And so it's not like, it doesn't have a hard endpoint. It's just, you're putting these systems in place, and you just need to follow the system, and then eventually it'll get you probably beyond your goal. So yeah, I tend to focus more on trying to find these good systems that we can follow, that we can just really ride out until we hit some sort of ceiling. And it goes back to what we were saying earlier, how what we do now is we kind of just we have so many things in place. We're waiting for, we're trying to look for patterns and then form systems around those to take them to the next level.
Yeah, yeah. And I actually remember what I was gonna say. I wanted to talk about the 10x rule, the cliche 10x rule by Grant Cardone. It was something we knew about before I even listened to the audiobook, but it was something that was explained to us by one of our first Kindle coaches. Just basically,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of thrown around everywhere, but the idea is that you just do 10 times what you originally thought would be the best to do. And by doing that, even if you aren't able to execute it the 10 times greater, so say you set a goal to get 5 dropshipping suppliers, you have to, then you can say, all right, no, I'm going to get 50. And because,
Mm-hmm.
and what happens with that is, like you said, you get a lot of good data back, because to get 50 dropshipping suppliers, you have to call a lot of suppliers to actually lock in 50. But if you set that goal and you call a bunch of suppliers, man, you're going to be an expert at calling suppliers by the end of that. And without a
Mm-hmm.
doubt, you're going to get some really, really good suppliers at the end of that run. And
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
you've basically done something to where you've mastered it. And now you don't have to you don't have to do it. Like, you don't have, it becomes something that becomes so internalized, and you don't have to think about it anymore. And it actually, so another thing is say you set that goal, it might be that, man, it's impossible. Like, you're not going to be able to call those 500 suppliers. So if you are sticking to it, maybe it can force you to come up with a system, hire someone on Upwork, like a salesperson, give them a
Mm-hmm.
script, call the supplier, so you're not sitting at home calling the suppliers. But by having the big pie in the sky goal, it forces you to adapt and accomplish it, regardless of
Hmm.
whether you can do it yourself.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it goes back to the assumption that whatever you want to do, whatever goal you want to achieve, is going to take 10 times more work than you believe it's going to, and I think that's certainly true. If you go in expecting something to be this easy and it's above that, then it's going to be a lot harder for you to actually do. But if you just automatically assume out of the gate, okay, this is going to be 10 times harder than I expect, you're going to force yourself to take that much more action. And then as a result, you're going to power through and get a lot closer to where you want to be. And so even, a lot of people, they're just trying to make $5,000 a month online. If you say, okay, I want to make $50,000 a month online, it forces you to think about how you could actually do that. And so the steps you wind up taking, the action you wind up taking is a lot more congruent with that big goal. And you're much more likely to hit the $5,000 a month mark. And I definitely did this with Kindle, especially starting out. I set a goal. I don't know if like I 10x or whatever, but I was focused on just taking as much action as possible. I definitely had um, that idea in my head, even though I hadn't read the book. And so like I was just going to create essentially a problem for myself to where I had too many writers. I was putting out too many books. And yeah, I think if people go out and they try to create problems for themselves, like good problems like that, then that's kind of the spot you want to be in.
Yeah. And when we were not doing well with our blog sites, when we first started, we were struggling. We I tell this story a lot, but we got coaching from John Dykstra from Fat Stacks blog, and when John was like showing me and telling me, he's like, I have this many info articles put out, and I was like, whoa, like that's so many articles. So I was like, how am I gonna do that? And I was like, that's so hard. Like at that time I was like writing a lot myself. It was crazy. So it basically forced us to hire our first full time writer just to push through that threshold. Because I was like, I'm just gonna get as many. I don't even know if I had a number in mind, but I was like, I want 5 articles a day. I want 3 articles a day, every day published, like with no regard. Because that's what John was saying. He was just saying,
Yeah.
Publish, 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 publish. So I was like, all right, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna think about like I didn't even think. And
Mm-hmm.
I made a lot of mistakes along the way, even at that time. But putting it out there and getting the feedback back from what I published, what ranked, what didn't, it was pretty big breakthrough, and it's come
Yeah,
back.
because if you're publishing a couple articles and you're waiting to see what happens, it's unlikely that's going to be the best move.
Yeah.
You Obviously we're capped by our budget and our experience and stuff like that, but it really is a mental barrier that everyone has, and you just constantly need to be pushing the edge of that barrier. Because if we had a limited budget, we would just put out as many articles as quickly as possible, and then you see what works, and then you optimize based on that. But the fact is, we don't have a limited budget, but we need to, again, just find the highest point that we could possibly operate at. And for a while we lost money doing SEO because we were just taking so much action because we knew that's what we had to do. It would take so long to get feedback. It would take so long to understand what was actually going on. And so we just needed to keep pushing forward, even though it was costing us money. And in the end, we knew once we cracked the code, then it was, it would be very easy to make that money back. And we're kind of coming to that point now.
Yeah, and because we always knew that there was a big picture behind it. It wasn't like we were doing this, going out there and spending money for no reason.
Yeah.
There were times when I wanted to give up, but you would kind of say like, well, what happens when if we can figure this out, what happens? And I was like, we can make more passive income. They're like, all right, what else happens? We can rank for our dropshipping stores and get organic traffic. And what does that mean? That means our stores have higher valuations and more sales. And
Mm-hmm.
so in the end, we kept reminding ourselves of that big picture. Because when you're failing at something, and you have that goal in mind, like having the goal of I want to succeed at making a blog site, I want to succeed at SEO. That's not big enough picture. You need to have
Hmm.
why. Why are you doing this?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really good point, and it does go back to like really the core of what we teach is leveraging what you learn, because online business and what we do is there's so much return, so much ROI you can get just off of figuring like one tactic out. And so it's not like you're trying to make $1,000 a month online and doing this SEO thing is not working. And so it's not, the juice isn't worth the squeeze in your mind, and so you stop doing it. But in reality, the way that we were looking at it was like you were saying, even though it might take us a while to get there, once we can figure out one thing, then we can create a bunch of websites with the proper formula. And then once we create one website making $1,000 a month, we can go ahead and sell that for $30,000 quickly, make all the money back that we probably invested, and now we still have the knowledge. We can apply it to our dropshipping stores, get tens of thousands of dollars in increased equity there. And so yeah, the compounding returns on just achieving achieving these goals is really high, and that's why you should actually like write things down. And like I was saying, you can work backwards. If you want 5 million in net equity, then you can work back and say, okay, stores need to be making this much a month, and then they'll be worth this much. They'll be bringing in this much income, and it all ties in together. And so it just takes the proper amount of application. And if you don't have a big end goal in mind and a way that taking all this effort can pan out in a big way, then you're unlikely to do it.
Yeah. So let's take it back. I want to talk about another goal or like to-do list item that I have for this week. And I think it's going to be a very impactful one. Now, this isn't something that we teach. It's not related to dropshipping or Kindle publishing. We don't really have a course on this or have any videos on this, but this is related to our Build Assets Online venture, our personal brand that we have going on here. So the goal is simply this. Right now our two main platforms are YouTube, and we upload to Libsyn, which syndicates to Apple Podcasts and Stitcher and all the podcast platforms, yada, yada, yada. But I do want to start doing more syndication to places like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, even though I don't really want to learn anything about those platforms myself. I mean, I guess they don't tickle my pickle as much as learning about SEO. It's just it just seems like so. It just kind of makes me cringe to want to become like an Instagram influencer, but I think we're missing out on a lot of things by not being present in those areas. So we're going to be using some tools, testing out some tools, and also going to be, so I'll give you exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be using, I hired a VA who's going to be taking this episode and mastering the audio for the podcast, adding an intro and an outro to kind of make the podcast stuff a little bit more polished than it could be, and than it is rather. And then they're going to be making clips of the podcast and uploading it to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, yada yada yada. And then I'll be using a service that's going to grow our Instagram by, doing stuff like finding people that might be interested in us, liking their photos, whatever they're going to do. I'm not even going to think about it. I'm just hiring someone to do it. Or I don't know if it's like a person or a tool, but I know that the concept is good to go after, engage with people that engage with related pages. I think it's a good concept. So that said, that's what we're going to do. But yeah, and it's kind of tedious right now because I'm kind of training the guy who's going to be making the clips and editing the podcasts. And I know we have a little bit of a hill to climb, but we're throwing a lot out there, and we're going to get a lot of data out there in return. So it's
Hmm.
it's good.
It also kind of goes back to, the 80/20 rule, which I think in the beginning people want to focus on 80/20 too much, but that's a problem because they don't really know what the 20 is that's providing 80% of their results. And so again, in the beginning, doing everything is harder. It's more effort, less return, but in the end, it scales up. And so for us, we know just by doing these simple practices on social media, uh, it may not be the most efficient thing, but even beyond the 80/20, I think as James Schramko likes to say, is the 80/20 the 80/20. So it's kind of like the 464.
Yeah.
So that's again, it's an easy system we can put in place to start getting some data in. And if we want to put more effort into those social media channels, we can.
It has to be easy. The goal has to be, you have to, so when if you have to think like what you're doing has to be able to be systematized, and just breaking it down into its most simple components of what could be effective. Because like, for example, with this Instagram stuff, we can get together, take a bunch of fashion photos, and have a bunch of content that we could put up, and maybe that's what the people want. But I think looking at some of the people that do it, uploading audio clips to Instagram of the show could also be very effective. And it's a
Hmm.
100 million times easier than having to get together with you and do a photo shoot. Uh,
Oh yeah, that
yeah.
would never happen.
Well, it might, Mike. Don't say that it'll never happen. It might happen.
Okay.
So that's what I have to say about that. Making it easy is important. Like, don't you want to do a lot, but you don't want to make it difficult. And so the
Mhm.
point is that the actions being done through this Instagram stuff, like there's going to be scheduled posts and yada yada yada. There's going to be a lot of action being done, and it's going to be
Mhm.
enough to get results back and evaluate them, but it's not going to be tough action. It's going to be easy action.
Mhm. Yeah, and if you are spending, a lot of your time doing other things, it takes a lot to drop what you're doing and spend time on stuff that may not work out. And
Yeah.
so a lot of our students in the beginning um, probably have that same feeling. Like if they're at their job and they want to do this and they want to, have something that they can make them money, make them a lot of money. And so that's kind of why you need to buy a course. For one, to give you skin in the game, and to be in a community where other people are having the same results you want to have, and to have a step-by-step action plan to get there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So I think we about covered it actually. Not The chat is not too lively right now, but
the chat is not popping.
no, the chat has been so good, and now today it's dead. Let me hear you say "oh" in the chat. Uh, yeah, or is it "wayo"? Let me hear you say "wayo." Mm, right?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's hear something in the chat, guys. We wanna answer more questions. We like to take up the whole hour, and yeah, we've set up. We've come on here. Let's make the most of this. So we'll give that a few minutes, and
We'll let it breathe.
yeah. And if it doesn't work, we'll just sign off because I got a lot of things on my to-do list.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and even the way. Oh, what's up, Andre? Oh, he
Andre,
says. Yeah,
he
even
said,
even the way that we do, you know, the lessons online, at least for me, is like very systemized. It's not like we were going to take a crack at trying to do this. We had to set things in place to meet weekly at these times and do this. And so I know you do a lot more work behind the scenes than I do, but for me, I almost kind of feel like I feel like Wendy Williams almost, because kind of I just show up and the cameras are all ready, the stage is set, and I just talk.
Just make sure you don't faint on the when you're live. But Andre's working those goals while listening. That's great. I think Andre is going to be our first student who we gets the Kindle publishing success interview. I'm just calling that now. He's been a loyal Elite Fleet member before we even had the Kindle course. He's been asking us about Kindle publishing, and I think I think he's got what it takes, and I think he's gonna do really well. But yeah, the build assets online thing has been a lot of work for me, to be honest with you. But I think we're kind of very close to the end, or close to a fully fleshed out system once we get this social media thing in place. So if you go back on YouTube and you watch our first Build Assets online videos, it's like me and Mike sitting on the couch in my office, and it was crazy. It was like we were like, oh, what are we gonna say? Like we were trying to like write a script for each video, and to be honest, while maybe that might be for a YouTuber, that might be the most effective way to make a good video and optimize totally. That might be the way to make the best video, but that's not practical for us. We're not gonna spend hours and hours and hours every week trying to get the perfect setup. Like, we got other things to do. So we've kind of evolved it to where we started doing this first a live recording where we would make an episode based on a topic. We would try and do like 3 in a day. And we did that for quite a while, probably the past 8 or 9 months. And now it turned into a live stream, which is even easier because I don't got to edit the video. Like, no one has to edit the video. You just start it with the thumbnail right in place. And then, like I said, now it's going to be getting the full podcast syndication. But it took a while of stumbling along and thinking, hey, how can we improve our Build Assets online experience in a way that that is good for the audience and good for our customers and good for us. And that's how the Elite Fleet was born out of that. It's like, how can we make a situation where we have some stakes, because people pay monthly for the Elite Fleet. How do we have something in it to where we can provide the best service? So yeah, a lot of good things. A lot of things have just come up along the way as we've been doing it, and it comes back to what you said, just putting it out there and getting that information back. But yeah, point being, buildassetsonline.com has been a lot of work for me. It continues to be a lot of work for me, but we're almost at that end point. I think the final system is when when you get your better computer and you're able to plug into like the Ethernet and stuff. I think that'll be the final polish on the hood of the car that sets it, because then we can actually have a solid connection at all. It's hard live streaming from a router.
Yeah. Well, not sure when that's happening, but
so whoa. You said it's happening when we sell some property, and we sold a property today.
Yeah, no, not the ones I said. I said if we sell these specific properties, then I would do it.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah. So once that happens, trust me, we're gonna get decked out. A lot of horsepower.
Yeah.
A lot of terabytes.
Mike's I don't have a good analogy for it, but like he's got a bad computer.
I'm on the digital nomad setup.
Yeah.
I'm working on a MacBook Air. I'm ready to just ship off to Thailand at any moment. So well, that's how I set up my business.
Make sure you stay in a first class hotel with good lives, because I know you like to what is the word, like bum it out in Thailand. You might go where there's no internet.
Yeah. I mean, my AirPods are dying too. Mick Strickland said, "Hey guys, on a train to work, listening to you." What's up, Mick? Where does Mick live? Do you know, Joe?
I thought he's in Australia. Is it like,
I guess I mean that would make sense because it's not really work time here.
is it 4 in the
Or
morning there? I thought it's 12 hours.
uh yeah, I don't know what daylight savings, and I mean Australia is pretty big, so there's probably a few time zones.
Okay.
Could be his morning commute.
Okay.
But
If your
yeah,
AirPods die,
Andre.
we could probably your real speakers would probably be fine for a while. I think the echoing issue was caused by the streaming thing that I was using last time. So
Okay. Yeah. Andre says, "What gives me the drive is that you guys are so ahead in this game, already have so much established, and you work much more than me." I don't know if we work more than you, Andre. Maybe Joe does. I don't know what I do half the time. You know, I used to be. I don't know. Nowadays, it's like, I'm just doing a lot of management, and no, I guess I definitely work, but it feels like you do more work when you're doing these little tasks. Like I remember when I was doing Kindle, right? I would come home and like I was doing everything for it, right? So I was hiring writers, I was proofreading things a lot, I was making covers. There's like a constant stream of these tasks, and even when we were early on in dropshipping, like I would just drink a lot of coffee and then I would just hop on the computer and just do like all these customer service tasks. And to me, that felt like I was doing the most work.
yeah.
And I guess it is because like you're banging out things. I don't do as much of like that type of thing anymore. A lot of times I'm just managing and keeping things afloat and checking ads and with the real estate stuff, I do a lot of work there to like analyze data and do things like that. But it's not I don't work at a level that is supernatural. Joe kind of does.
I don't.
Joe's like a savant.
I don't think so. I mean, I definitely. No, I think you do a lot of stuff that like I absolutely would hate doing. So that's
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're more likely to take phone calls and you take. I think you do a lot of stuff like the CEO who's on the road. You gotta,
Yeah, exactly.
so
So yeah.
and I'm the C. I'm the C. What is it? The CFO, the chief financial officer that he's locked away in the office.
Yeah, yelling at the accountant and doing that type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll get there, Andre.
Yeah, I think when you have your first month of like good passive income, um, I think it's going to be a game changer for you, Andre.
Hmm. And going back to like the work thing, even in the book Deep Work, they talk about stuff like that. Like a lot of times people, they do a bunch of tasks that they think are like important things to do, but they're actually wastes of time. Like the customer service thing or the editing books thing. Like you can spend time on that and it feels fulfilling to do it because it's like it's a real task, but it's not like a top level thing that's going to push you forward in your business. And so I try to avoid those tasks that I can have someone else do, and have my time freed up.
Absolutely. So I don't know how to say th/. He's got the Air Jordan favicon. Big ups to MJ. Yeah. Hey, yes. How much money do you need to start a Kindle publishing? Why don't you answer that one, Mike?
Well, you can get started for free. We have an episode about that. That was our last podcast, actually.
Yes.
How to get started for free. But if you want to do fiction and you don't want to write it yourself, then you should probably have, I'm going to say, a couple $1,000, $3,000 dedicated to actually I don't know when you tuned in, the slash, but we were talking about how you need to just keep pushing forward and taking action. And so if you say, okay, I have $300. I'm gonna make a book. I'm gonna put it out. I'm gonna see what happens. That's a bad idea. You're gonna waste $300. What I would say is take $300, make 10 books, do a book a month for 10 months, and then just see where that takes you and come back and evaluate.
Wait, so how would he make 10 books with $300? Like the free type?
If you're doing like shorter books, no, you can do a 30,000 word book for $360. So yeah, okay, get it cover done. You can edit it yourself if you want to save money. $400 a month.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, $3,000 a month, $300 a month.
I mean, to get more specific, like you can get a 30,000 word fiction book done for like $360, maybe less, depending on if you can find someone like that. That's good quality. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. You can do 20,000 words, and so it's kind of a hard answer to give because I personally I want to do at least 30,000 words, and there's reasons for that, and we go into it in the course. But if it's something you're trying to test out and you want to test the waters, then maybe do 20,000 words and see what happens. But just know that a 20,000 word book, you can double what you're earning by making it a 40,000 word book. So I don't really know where you're at, so it's hard to answer the question.
Yeah.
Richard, I love Richard, Elite Fleet member, says, how fast can you actually scale a dropshipping store to, let's say, 10K a month profit? I mean, there's no ceiling to quote Lil Wayne. Because I mean, really, all it takes is one supplier, and so, and it takes Edwards knowing what you're doing in that sense. But like, for me and Joe, for example, if we found the right supplier, we can make $10,000 a month off that supplier really quickly, because we can see what the indications are that the supplier is going to be worth it. We can see what's converting, and we can scale it out from there. So, it's really variable depending upon how well you know what you're doing and how well you execute and how many suppliers you get. So I would say if you go out and just get as many suppliers as possible, probably skim through the best ones, start cracking away at those, you can get there pretty quickly. Like once you can get to $2,000 a month drop shipping, it's pretty easy to get to 10,000. And you're in the elite fleet, so just keep pedaling forward, and we can help you identify those patterns, right? Like once you have a good supply and you start to make sales, then we can look at what's actually going on, and we can help you. We can push you in that direction to get to $10,000 a month. If you're by yourself, it can take years. It took us probably that long. Yeah, it's about 2 years, maybe year and a half to get there. But we see other students like Mike Lopez, for example, we had on. I don't even know how his store wasn't even a year old. He was doing 10K, probably like 8 months or 9 months. So
yeah. Mick asks, will you guys be doing a YouTube monthly income report? I guess we should. I mean, it's not there's no reason why we shouldn't, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we did one last month.
I think people seem to enjoy it more than I thought they would.
Can we do it live though?
Yeah. We just have to prepare all the like the slides beforehand, and we can do it live without a doubt.
Cool. Focus is here. He's back.
He's late to the party though.
Wait. Yeah, that's not good focus. You're not very focused.
All right, so throw the questions in the chat, and we will answer them. So I'm just curious. I always wonder, like, who's watching the live stream? Is it people that watch us a lot, or is it newcomers? Like, I don't know how this stuff gets pushed on YouTube. Like, in terms
Yeah,
of the
it's
output.
definitely good because it shows us at the top of the feed, right, when we're live.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you do this, but like there's definitely people I subscribe to and then like I never watch their stuff again, and then it falls down in the feed, and
Yeah.
I think it does good for that.
Yeah.
Also, people stick in here, and so like they watch for an hour, and now would probably get a bump up in their like top uh,
Yeah.
in their feed. So
Yeah. Focused is working his 9 to 5. Um, yeah.
well, you gotta do focused.
Yeah. Yeah. You do have to stay focused on your 9 to 5. You know.
Yeah, I
But
mean, I was lucky in that my first like salaried 9 to 5 job was so ridiculously easy that I didn't have to focus at all.
it's interesting that there's a range of 9 to 5 responsibilities. Like I feel like you can get a job like a 9 to 5 that has like really bad pay, but it's like you're working like 24/7. Like it's like a salaried job, and you always got to take phone calls and stuff like that. Like my
Mhm.
first job, like I got that was like how much I got paid. It was around like 30,000. But I was like it was like so stressful, so stressful. I don't know if you remember like how stressed I was. But my second job, um, it was more corporate and like more bureaucratic. So
Mhm.
it was like, yeah, I had to go to work, but honestly, most of the time I was just sitting there, um, like doing whatever.
Well, so do you think it was the first company's fault for giving a job that did not match the salary, or the second job you were getting paid too much for what you were doing?
I don't know if there's a good answer because I feel like at a job, you can only do as much as they position you to do. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like if you can't, like you don't have as much power to like make sweeping changes that can really impact the business.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know. I feel that big companies like they have enough resources to where they just throw people at jobs to where like all right, realistically this person only has to do 1 hour a day,
Hmm.
but you know let's make their salary dependent on them not messing it up.
Yeah, yeah. It's weird, like the corporate job structure. I don't know how they figure it out and decide what pay should be for things. It's very strange.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole concept of like HR as well is pretty strange. I was talking to someone we know. Well, you don't really know her, but I went to high school with her, and she works in HR now. And I was like, at that point, we had already like hired some people when I was talking to her about this. And I was like, so do you actually look at the resume? And she's like, yeah, that's like the first thing I look at. Which is funny because like when I hire someone, like I never look at the resume. I only look at I tell them like in the application, like send me this, and this with
Hmm.
the application. Like I don't know, like tell me why you're good. You're gonna be good for this and something like that. So I like only look at that and never even open the resume because I feel that the effort they put there is gonna be like,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Like a resume is such. It's part of such like a bloated process.
yeah,
There's no way even the HR person would like understand the job role like as good as the boss would,
yeah, yeah.
right?
I guess
Like I
it's kind.
don't. Yeah.
It's kind of like a screening mechanism.
Yeah, yeah. It's just they just need to sift through, see what looks good. Because I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna call references and like see if your resume is even real. Like I know people that just completely BS their resumes and get jobs.
Yeah. You know, the guy I hired today that's working on the podcast editing. Well, he's gonna hear this, so I might as well. I guess I could say it, but he's like, I guess he was a bit younger, and he's in the Philippines, and I was like, he was like laughing at the end of the call today when I was explaining what to do, and I was like, what's so funny? And he's like, are you not gonna ask me for like my ID and like other stuff, like, you know, like other like official documents?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no, like I'm just paying you as a freelancer. Just do what I'm telling you, and then send me a PayPal invoice.
Yeah, like I don't care what your ID says. If you can edit this podcast and
Yeah,
not, do something shady, like you'll get the job. So
yeah. And I'm
yeah,
only gonna.
a lot of the corporate process is just so bloated, and definitely a lot of people in the Philippines go through that because it's such, their labor workforce is very corporate, with the call centers and a lot of what goes on. So they're kind of used to operating in that bureaucracy. And a lot of times, like we need to train them kind of down
Yeah,
to just be more personal and free flowing and
yeah.
kind of just link up with what we're doing and like fitting in. So
That's an excellent point. I didn't even think of that, but you're right. We do have to train them down sometimes. Um, yeah. So focused is getting good pay, just a busy day, getting ready. He's getting back into the office after the quarantine. Well,
good.
I hope. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it's good that he's offices are opening back up and stuff. Because even though it's getting more sales for us, like this time period, it's really annoying at a personal level and at a business level because there's just so much. I don't know. It's so chaotic right now.
Yeah,
So hoping it goes back to normal soon.
yeah. We'll see. It doesn't. You know what? It doesn't. I feel this feels normal to me now. I don't even know what normal is anymore.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I was at the store today, and it's like you got to wear the masks and you got to do the spacing. It's just like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like this new reality.
Well, I hated going to the store before, so it's better for me because I just I want to having groceries delivered has been a huge like I'm never going to the store again.
Oh, you're crazy.
No.
I used to love going to the store.
I used to like it
I
until
can't
I
even go
really
get coffee now.
What's
You know,
that?
I said I can't even go get coffee now. It's like ruining my life.
Yeah, well that was a big ritual for you, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean doing like a big grocery shopping and like having to carry the bags from like the car to the house, that can get old really quickly. So, I mean, for me, because I do the grocery shopping for our house, it's like uh, getting it delivered to the front door is like a million times easier.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that part of society is definitely going to stick. I feel like no one was really doing grocery delivery.
Yeah,
With a small section of the population. Like now we're going to have people that choose to live like this, that choose to live this very, very home based life where maybe the only time they go out is to a restaurant or I don't even know.
yeah,
But maybe it'll be nice. Things will be more wide open, less populated.
yeah.
So, I think.
So everyone, we have like 12 viewers now. Like after we stop talking about the core topic of what we're talking about.
Yeah, we're just talking about groceries.
Yeah,
I don't even know.
it's
I don't have anything left to say. I'm not echoing, right? My AirPods
no,
died.
no. You sound good.
Okay,
You sound as good as you can sound. But
thanks.
it's a shame because I thought it was a good episode and no one was there to hear it. We just
Yeah, maybe some people are going back right now and they're not live. They're
yeah
they're behind.
although I don't know if you can do that to be honest with you. I think you have to wait until the episode
No,
is
I do it
already
all the time.
when it's live.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
really? I
You
thought
can
you
do it
have.
right now. You can just click. Yeah, you can click back to any point in the video.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it has to be done already. I thought it has to be like out and then you can do that.
No, you can go back at any point. Then you just hit the live button, and it brings you back to where we are.
Hmm.
So,
All right. All right, good stuff. So yeah, let's call it, I guess. I mean, it's a shame. I guess anyone has any more questions, we're here. I see there's quite a few of you now. So I'm willing to wait it out for a few more questions, but if not, be sure to catch us on Wednesday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Big episode.
Is it?
I don't know. I don't know what we're going to be talking about, but oh, I wanted to do an episode on we'll keep it a surprise. We'll keep it a surprise. I have a good thumbnail for it though.
Good.
But I wanted to stay with this series a little, like every now and again, like setting goals and talking about what we're doing and the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
So
we got a question from Mind Flex. It's really hard to approximate where I am on the camera because it's like you have me so zoomed in. So I'm sorry if I keep going out of the frame for those who are watching intently. But Mindflex says, when it comes to publishing, would you turn your books into audiobooks? My name is Dion, by the way. Yeah, Dion, you can definitely do that, and you should do that. I don't know if you're in our course or not, but we don't talk about that in the course yet because we want people to actually get books published first and focus on that later. But you should 100% turn your books into audiobooks.
Yeah.
I feel like I say this on every episode, but I'm going to say it again. Audible right now gives you free redemption codes to give to your readers so they can buy your book for free and you get paid the full amount for it.
Yeah.
So it's a big opportunity right now. On top of that, if you get someone to sign up to Audible through your book, then you get $75. And so the thing is with Audible, it takes a while to get it done. You have to have the Kindle book up first. You have to do the extra investment in getting a good narrator. But you should make that money back on the narrator just off the redemption codes. So, yeah, you should definitely do it, and see what happens. I have like 3 audiobooks pending right now, including like a big box set. So I want to see what happens with that box set because they don't really tell you anything. Like the audiobook platform is really bad.
What do you mean they don't tell you anything? Like
I don't even know. I don't know what. I know after 3 hours of like read time, the book price increases. I don't know what it increases to, and I don't know what we make off of that. And then after that, I don't know. Say like after 6 hours or something, if it's more. I don't know what the pricing schedule is or our royalty tiers. It's like not easily available.
I see. What do you mean the book price increases?
Like a 2-hour audiobook is going to cost less than a 3-hour audiobook.
Oh, I see. But I'm saying it doesn't change what we get paid.
It does. It does.
Okay.
Because a 2-hour audiobook, it would probably be like $14 or something.
Mm-hmm.
A 3-hour one is probably like 20.
Mm.
So I think for under 3 hours we make $2 or $3. Over 3 we make $6.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I think. The discount ended quickly. I mean, we promoted it for quite a while, Mindflex. So I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the scarcity is real here, guys.
Yeah.
When we offer a discount, it's short-lived. So. And
Mick said, is that audio promotion still valid? I heard that books published after a certain date still get the promotion code but don't get paid for it. When did you hear that, Mick? As far as I know, we're still getting paid for it. Although the books we have up now have not gone live in they're like a couple months old. So I have like, again, 3 books that should be going live any week now. So I'll be able to report back on that. But yeah, like I was saying, Amazon does these things that are like limited time, but it's like wild, wild west moments where they just give you free money.
yeah.
And so that's really the pros and cons of Amazon is like they'll do things like that. But it happened last week. Research that. News. I'll have to look into that, Mick, because I don't see that anywhere. I don't know. Thank you for bringing that up because I'll have to investigate that. And that would kind of be pretty annoying because I really just doubled down on our audiobook production to kind of get things in while we were able to get this free money, but we'll need to see what happens there.
That would be a real shame.
Yeah, that would be kind of annoying, but
Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
Nothing. We're gonna keep pushing on and make 100 different blog sites on on autopilot.
Yeah. So yeah, Audible is like icing on the cake for us. Just like
Yeah.
very, very top. Just some extra income.
Yeah. And as a little bit of a teaser, a side note, the blog strategies that we're going to be employing in the next coming 3 to 6 months, I think that would be a good time frame to see how they're fleshing out. Maybe 8 months. These are going to be game changing blog strategies. We think.
Oh yeah.
We think this is going to be the ultimate combining of everything that we've ever learned online.
hmm And so if we put out a course on it and there's a discount code, you should use it
Quickly.
very, very, very quickly.
Yeah, yeah. It's good with all the changes with Amazon and their affiliate rates. Um,
hmm
it's very motivating to find alternate streams of affiliate revenue, and I think there may be some diamonds in the rough, hidden deep
hmm
underground.
hmm
So I'm getting the excavators out, and we're gonna find them.
hmm Yeah, no one really puts out courses that like all blend into each other and like all have this central focus of being like a piece of information that is stable. Like a lot of times people put out step by step, but a lot of it's going to change.
Yeah,
Like the information in the course is going to become not valid because Google's going to change their algorithm, or everyone's going to start using this backlink strategy, or
well,
there's something like that kind of breaks it.
I think FBA is the biggest one of those because it's like changing like it the whole system of getting involved in FBA private label nowadays is insane because we were talking about this to someone the other day. It's like you have to get reviews on your Amazon products. You have to import stuff from China. Like every one of the tasks on FBA, the review getting process is gray hat. The importing from China is, I mean, what am I gonna say? I don't even have to say anything about that. Like it's very volatile at this moment, and has been,
Yeah, like tariffs. Like when we were doing this,
yeah,
we were trying to do FBA. They literally put in the 25% tariff.
yeah, it's great. So that is the most volatile business model in
On
my
top of
opinion.
that, it's Amazon's algorithm, and they're going to change it without telling you anything.
Yeah, and
You're spending tens of thousands of dollars on an initial investment.
yeah, and you have so much inventory riding on this algorithm, but
You know what? I was gonna say, if you're going to do FBA, instead of spending $10,000 on like 1,000 $10 products, you could just get in 10 $1,000 products.
yeah, I guess just to see
That would really be
what's
the way, because like, yeah, who cares if you sell out?
yeah, I mean it's better off seeing what's working and then restocking, but
That's what we should have did, honestly.
yeah, we should have, but it's all good. But
Yeah.
yeah, let's we got to end it here, guys. I got another meeting in 5 minutes, so it's been great. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks for checking out the live stream. We'll be back on Wednesday, 3:30. And just to take us out here, let's talk about what you should check out. And it's on the screen now, correct, with the .com. So instant e-commerce asset, buildassetsonline.com/asset. Our Elite Fleet membership group, buildassetsonline.com/membership. And our free course, Online Asset Playbook, $0 to $1 million, strategy for building your portfolio, buildassetsonline.com/playbook. And finally, maybe the best one of them all, the Kindle publishing course, buildassetsonline.com/publish or buildassetsonline.com/Kindle. Go get that now because the discount ended, but we're about to do a reverse discount where the price doubles. So, yeah, that's within the realm of possibility. So, all right, thank you guys again so much for watching. I hope you appreciate the jokes, appreciate the commentary, and see you in the next episode.
Take it easy.